Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with an update video today, bit of a feedback video as well, go through some of the comments, check out what has been happening there in the comment section, give my opinion on some of those, and also talk about what's going on in the country at the moment. As we know, not a lot of changes around the country. A couple of autonomous communities have come out today and announced some changes, but apart from that, things are fairly normal. The curfews are still in place, mobility restrictions still in place around the country, and as we know, people are still confined to their municipalities for a few days more. Are they going to extend those restrictions? Most likely. The Madrid president has come out today and said that they're going to close the Madrid community from the 4th of December through to the 14th. So they want to close the place down for that long weekend. Make sure that people here don't travel, go to their second homes, or go away for that long weekend period, because a lot of people traditionally would have taken the whole week off to get away, to go to another country, to go to another part of Spain and enjoy that long weekend or that week break in which we celebrate here the Constitution and the Day of Immaculate Conception. And those are two words that I never thought I would say in these videos, Immaculate Conception. Now, yesterday was a day of milestones, as we know. The word for milestone in Spanish is hito. So there were a couple of hitos yesterday, hito with an H. The channel, of course, hit 40,000 subscribers, which I never thought would be possible. And we reached day 250 since the state of alarm was announced in this country, and our lives changed. Somebody said that it's actually day 251. I don't know. I don't really care whether it's 250 or 251. I'm not going to split hairs, but if it's 251, fantastic. But if it's 250, again, it is also a milestone. And 40,000 subscribers, lots of people congratulating me on that achievement. And to be honest, I don't know whether a large amount of subscribers is a sign of success on YouTube. I see plenty of channels that have a lot more subscribers than me. You see channels that have 100,000, 200,000, a million subscribers. But for me, the most important thing about this channel is the engagement that we get, the amount of comments I get, the amount of time people watch the videos for, the amount of likes videos get, the amount of dislikes videos get. Those for me are also very important aspects of the channel. And of course, according to the video, views can go up, views can go down. There's a lot of different characteristics which make some videos more popular than others. Whether or not the video gets shared around, sometimes the video will be reposted on a website or somebody will mention it in another video. That can also help views take off. The thumbnail can be very important, the image that the video has when it's sitting there in YouTube. It's important to have a good thumbnail or image that people click on, and the titles of the videos can also influence how many people watch them. I try not to do too many clickbaity titles. I know some people rely on clickbait. Some people have accused me of clickbaity titles in the past. If you don't know what clickbaiting is, it's a technique that a lot of people are using nowadays, not only on YouTube, but also in newspapers online to get you to click on the stories. Normally quite sensationalist, and it is a way to get more people to watch the videos. But unfortunately, clickbaity titles don't mean that people are going to watch them for a long time. And that's also an important metric, the length of time that people watch your videos. Now, regarding the current situation in Spain, I mentioned that Madrid is closing down from the 4th of December through to the 14th. That has been announced today. Catalonia has also said that they are going to reopen bars and restaurants as of Monday. And I also read that in Murcia, I think they are going to reopen bars and restaurants in certain municipalities. So part of the country is opening, part of the country is closing. But of course, with this long weekend coming up, or the Puente, as we know that they are called here in Spain, these long weekends where there's normally a day off in the middle of the week or 2 days off in the middle of the week, and people can extend that holiday for a longer period, that long weekend, if you like. Traditionally a very important weekend here for people traveling, as I mentioned before, but this year there is going to be none of that. Of course, people are going to be able to travel around their autonomous community or their region if their municipality is not confined. Madrid also announced today that they're going to confine certain municipalities also. The incidence rate, of course, in those particular areas is increasing, and the Madrid government thinks that these perimeter confinements of municipalities will get the virus under control, because as we know, we're trying to get it under control for the Christmas period. The The Prime Minister, Mr. Sanchez, has also come out today and said that he's working on a vaccination strategy. They're going to announce that next Tuesday, exactly what they're going to do regarding the coronavirus vaccinations. These 2 or 3 vaccines that are in the pipeline, of course, the Pfizer vaccine, the one that was announced the other day from Moderna, I think the company's name was, and various other ones around the world that they're trying to get their hands on here in Spain. Now, I've got no idea what exactly this vaccination strategy is going to be. They're probably going to work out who gets first access to the vaccine. They'll most likely prioritize certain groups, and of course that debate about whether immunization should be mandatory or not, I'm sure will be announced on Tuesday when Mr. Sanchez gives his speech. So we'll have to wait until then to find out exactly what's going to happen regarding the vaccine, but I'm sure that the Prime Minister's announcement, like most things here in Spain, will be controversial. Now, there was a fair bit of feedback to one of the comments we had on yesterday's video about whether Spain will still be an attractive country to move to next year or the year after we put this pandemic behind us. And I said yesterday that I think that it will be, and a fair amount of people in the comment section agree with me on that. Of course, there's always going to be the naysayers saying that Spain is a terrible country. Why would you want to live in a country like Spain? But I've always said that in my opinions, the pros outweigh the cons. That is, of course, unless you're looking for work. That could be a bit of a negative experience if you come to this country to look for a job. As I've mentioned in numerous videos also, this is not the best country when it comes to finding work. But if you're coming here to live and you've got independent finances that you can earn from outside the country, or for example you are retired, I still think that Spain is going to be an attractive destination. The economy, of course, is going to be in a slump for a few years. We all know that. House prices most likely will come down, so it could be a good opportunity for a lot of people to buy property in the country. A couple of articles that I've read in recent times have suggested that this is going to be the case, that property prices are starting to decrease as people look to sell up as they become desperate. If they've lost their jobs, they can't afford to pay their mortgages anymore, of course. That's going to mean that more places become available and you might be able to get yourself a bargain. And according to where you want to live, there's going to be better bargains than others. For example, here in Madrid, you might not find the bargains that you were looking for because Madrid is the most dynamic city in the country. Similar in Barcelona, I don't think you'd be able to find too many bargains there. But if you go to the Costas, if you go to places in Spain where property prices normally fluctuate, you most likely will be able to pick yourself up a bargain. And I'd say that that's also going to be true in smaller cities as well. If you're not looking to live in a big city like Madrid, if you're willing to live in a smaller city, maybe in a place like Cuenca, you could find yourself a bargain. If you went to some of the other interior cities around the country, I'm sure that in some of those places prices will drop and you will be able to pick yourself up a bargain. Now, there's lots of talk in the press at the moment about this migration crisis that they have currently in the Canary Islands. The Canary Islands government is desperate for the central government to sort the problem out. Up until now, Mr. Sanchez and company has been a little bit reluctant to deal with this problem, leaving it to the Canary Islands. And of course, this migration flow from Africa in the Canary Islands continues to grow. This problem, of course, is nothing new. It's been going on for years. You can go back and look at the press and see that this has been a problem in the country for a long, long time. Some years it affects the Canary Islands, some years it affects mainland Spain. But one thing certain is that it's very, very difficult to stop people coming from Africa to Europe. And one of the key players in this migration crisis, of course, is Morocco. Morocco and Spain seem to have a fairly difficult relationship sometimes. I know the foreign minister is currently visiting Morocco to try to get them to sort this migration problem out. And sometimes there's a lot of political factors that we don't clearly see as to why more immigrants come some years than others. And finally, lots of press today about the new education law that was approved yesterday. The Minister for Education got her law passed, although not everybody was in agreement. I think it was a fairly split parliament. Of course, the government and its partners got the law through parliament, but there was huge opposition to this new education law. Nothing new about that. There's always huge opposition to any changes to education in this country. We can almost guarantee that when the Partido Popular next gets into power, they're going to change the law again, because that's what happens here in Spain, because every political party in this country wants to control education. It's an ideological debate. I think this is the 8th change to the education system in Spain's short democracy, and that works out to be a change every 5 years. So it's clear that in this country, education is a topic that politicians can't agree on. The political divide is too great. And as I mentioned last week, the main points of contention about this law change in education had to do with language and these government-funded private schools that they call here in Spain concertados. The language debate is a hot topic. I don't want to talk too much about it now, but basically Castilian Spanish is no longer the mandatory language of instruction here in the country, which means that various autonomous communities that have different languages are able to use those regional languages in schools in those areas as the main language of instruction. And of course, there's lots of people around the country not happy about that. And Spain's Royal Language Academy also came out and said that in their opinion, it's not a good idea to do it. So more changes to education, and as I said before, we can expect more changes when and if the Partido Popular come back into power in this country. On that note, I'll start to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. Debate the situation out. I'll see you on the next one. Hasta luego.